Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another Standard Brew. Today playing Naya Ark of Hunger. Ark of Hunger, a card from Secrets of Strixhaven. Played it previously on this channel. 4 mana artifact. Whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard, this artifact deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. You can tap it to mill a card. You may play that card this turn. Played it previously in a Boros build that was much more aggro slanted. This time around, really heavily leaning into this sort of mid-range, enabling the Ark of Hunger sort of graveyard synergistic build. Going so far as to play 4 Ghost Vacuums in the main, a couple Ooze, alongside some Freestrider Lookouts to help sort of develop and really ramp out of control. I found that, like, initially I was like, play a couple Ghost Vacuums, play a couple Ooze, but I just found myself wanting it every game, even in the matchups where your opponent's not that graveyard heavy. Just because it's so, like, when you get your Ark of Hunger online, especially in multiples, if you have 2 Ark of Hunger, any extra like opportunities you get to exile stuff from your graveyard, just lets it get out of control that much more quickly. I also found that Dredger's Insight is sort of like, in a way, not only does it help you become a lot more consistent, it finds artifacts and creatures, so you can either find your Freestrider Lookouts, or you can find your Arcs, or you can find your Ghost Vacuums, right? Whatever missing piece that you need. But also, like, that extra life gain that you get from every time you, like, exile an artifact or creature from your graveyard really adds up, really, like, can be an overwhelming source of like, life swing every turn to help you eventually close out the game or stabilize, so on and so forth. Otherwise, pretty straightforward, like, mid-rangey list. Pretty removal heavy, not super threat heavy, although we are on a playset of Esper Origin, so while our creature count may look kind of low, most of the time we are just trying to win off of the damage of Ark of Hunger, to be honest. Like, we have some early stuff that our opponent has to deal with, and, like, if our opponent doesn't answer our Freestrider Lookout right, we're pretty likely to have a Ghost Vacuum online. Paired with, like, the removal that we get, we're gonna sort of start ramping out of control, which gets paid off pretty quickly. Like, Ark of Hunger is a card that really wants you to have a lot of mana to work with. Same with Esper Origins. We're also on a couple Hardened Academic. New card from Strixhaven as well. 2 mana, 2/1 Flying Haste. You can discard a card to give it lifelink, and whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. This is a card that pairs pretty well with Ooze also, just in general. Like, late game, you'll have a bunch of mutagens on the field, and being able to essentially turn Hardened Academic into this big fireball, or threaten to do that at the very least, has played pretty okay. Only on 2. I started off on 4. I didn't find it to be that game-breaking, but it is nice to have on occasion. It's not a card I think that you want, like, a full playset of in this build specifically. It's a little too, like, maybe aggro slanted, and we don't have enough other creatures to, like, draw removal toward to, like, let this really flourish, right? A 1 of Day of Judgment in the main, 1 of Leatherhead, 1 of Tursa, 25 lands today, including a 1 of Pit of Offerings, just in case. Like, it's a pretty good hit off of Freestrider Lookout. It's not something that we necessarily want to be playing straight up. It's a little slow. Quite a lot of man lands, just to be able to support, like, actually really getting some good hits off of Freestrider Lookout. Unfortunately, in these colors, we don't have access to the best man lands. We're almost incentivized to, like, splash into black just to get, like, Restless Cottage. Would be very nice for this build. But just Naya today. As for the sideboard, a couple Doorkeeper Thralls. We are very, like, we have, like, no ETBs other than the Tursa here. Really nice effect for us. Couple Voice of Victories, couple Seers, couple Heritage Racks, couple Surax, extra Day of Judgments, and a couple Chandras. Just a little bit of variety. That, you know, we're going to struggle into matchups like Mono Green Landfall is probably going to be one of our worst matchups, just by the nature of not really having, like, ways to interact on the stack or with our opponent's hand. Like, and being on a road / get lost as our main, like, removal plan doesn't really pair very nicely into that. But everything else, I think we have a pretty good fighting chance. Maybe the Ouroboros lists will be a little challenging too, although we have the Day of Judgment, so we'll see. Like I said, gonna bring this into a traditional standard event. Feeling pretty good about it. I've been having a lot of fun on the ladder. Let's see if we can pull out, like, a 4/1. Would be pretty nice. Match 1, starting off on the play. You know, this hand's actually okay. Only forests, but we have a Dredger's Insight. Pretty likely that we'll be able to hit, like, at the very least, a white source to be able to unlock the erode. It's an okay hand. It's not bad. We pretty much always want to see Ghost Vacuum in our opener. It's really interesting that, you know, typically people don't really main deck Graveyard Hate, but like, especially standard right now, there are so many decks that rely at least partially on their graveyard. And beyond that, like, Ghost Vacuum has a lot of utility just in any creature deck, right? Just being able to like reanimate your guys as 1/1 flyers is pretty relevant, especially being on like Restless Prairie, so on and so forth. Opponent doing Kona stuff. We have a good amount of instant speed removal for this matchup, fortunately. Let's go ahead. So we have a Pit of Offerings that we can use to exile our Ark to make a Boros color land. I guess we take the plains here. I don't think it super matters. Go ahead and pass. I don't think it super matters. There will be a certain point where we have to hold up a road, but I think we have a little bit of time to set up, perhaps. Especially being on the play. Starting town. Ashling. Okay. A little bit of acceleration for them. So maybe we do have to hold up the erode starting now, unfortunately. Let's leave stuff in their graveyard is kind of a key part of this strategy, like actually being able to pay off the Freestrider Lookouts if we draw them, right? I think I'm just going to hold up the erode here. It's not my favorite position to be in, but better to not just outright die to them having the combo, right? Play an Ooze. Start getting some mutagen tokens. You know, this deck does, like, compared to the Boros build, doesn't benefit from the mutagen tokens as heavily, but it's not that bad because we're relatively threat light. And our threats aren't that like bulky. It gives us a way to beef up our like lookouts and Emeritus of Abundance and Hardened Academics, right? Just to be able to give them that much little extra like game ending power. Double blue from our Ashling trigger. Shocks in a Multiversal Passage. There's a Coil and Catch. That's kind of a good sign for us. It means they don't immediately have the Kona combo, probably. This card's another Uthros. Swings in for 1. I think we can afford to go ahead and make a mutagen at the very least. Back to me. Drawn to a Restless Prairie. Okay, well I need a red source though, so let's go ahead and play the pit. Exile my Ark here. I think that's kind of all I want to hit here. It's a very weird like you want it's a weird like strategy. I don't know. Play pattern. The play patterns of this list are pretty weird because you want to be exiling your opponent's stuff, but you also have to be mindful of you don't want to do it mindlessly, you know, because you need to leave like material to target for your Freestrider Lookouts, right? If we didn't have the Lookouts and we didn't have the Ark of Hunger, you know, we'd have a lot less to think about in terms of when to activate our Ooze and when to activate our Ghost Vacuum, but a little bit of restraint, I think, can give you material to work with when you need it, you know? Double green from our Ashling trigger. Could have the Kona here. Not a whole lot I can do about it other than just try to kill it, right? Oh, but they do pay to flip their Ashling again. Getting rid of some lands here. Interesting. I mean, they're probably going to go for it. Stomping Ground. Luckily, I'm playing around Spell Snare and Spell Pierce here. Formidable Speaker. Okay. Opponent doing a lot of damage to themselves, interestingly enough. I'm not quite going to have a window to go for the Ark here, I think. But we're getting pretty close. I could cast it Hardened. No, I still need to leave up white mana, so no Hardened Academic for me, but it is threatening to kind of be a big fireball kind of eventually. Opponent discards an ill-timed explosion. Yeah, not very good against us. Finds a Northwind Avatar. Okay. Swings in for 1. Passes it back. Northwind Avatar I'm not too afraid of. And now they have to invest extra mana next turn to like benefit from the mana from Ashling. I'm not sure that flipping it is necessarily correct from them. Drawn to a mountain. Mountain lets us like get our Hardened Academic going, which is pretty good. And I think it actually makes sense to just really go in on this. Use our Ghost Vacuum and our Ooze to open up quite a lot of damage here. Threaten to sort of kill them next turn, probably. You can go in with the mutagens as well. I'm not going to worry about Spell Pierce too much. Especially them digging for the Northwind Avatar here. Kind of makes me think that maybe they don't have Kona. I'm not sure. Could be kind of annoying for them to deal with this. Like I said, only on 2 of these. I mean, it looks good exactly in this position, right? But with all of the like cheap removal in the format right now, generally it's specifically like red damage-based removal. A lot of the time it just reads 2/1 Flying Haste for 2, and that's just not that good. When you get to like get a pretty big chunk in like this, it's not bad. The Beast. Okay, see if they have the Dispelling Exhale, I suppose. What you got, Miguel? My opponent may be AFK now? Question mark? Oh, looks like they're back. Tapping their Kona. Let's move into combat. I'm not sure that it super matters when I go for this, but might as well go as late as we can with it, right? Stop at end of combat. Make sure we have the appropriate stop set here. Got to assume they're swinging. Hello? They must be having like internet issues or something. Go for the erode. The erode is good. I think they're like fully like disconnected at this point, maybe. They're like blipping in and out of reality. They do have lethal here if they don't have any answer to this academic. Crack a mutagen. Exile something with the ooze here. You know, I might as well play the Ark first. It's not like I have removal for anything that they could do anyway. I kind of have to just go for it, and as part of that, I might as well play the Ark, right? Yeah, they're fully gone. They're fully gone now. Play the Ark. I think I was probably gonna win if they don't have anything here anyway. Play the Plains from the Graveyard, which triggers our Academic again, and pings my opponent here. Kill them with the Hardened Academic? That doesn't feel like a very good way to win, but assuming like my erode sort of like foiled their whole plan there, I think we're feeling pretty okay about all that. I think Doorkeeper Thrall kind of shuts down their whole deal, right? They need ETB creatures to really combo off. Voice of Victory probably okay. At the very least, it gives us a little more threats. Like it gives us threats. I don't think we need the Day of Judgments. Obviously our instant speed removal is pretty good. This is kind of a matchup where Esper Origins maybe isn't that good. Cut down on a little bit of our graveyard hate stuff. Just get like maybe a Surak in here. Seer's probably fine. As far as threats go, like Esper Origins it's just okay here. It's a little slow. I think we can rely pretty nicely on our like Suraks to be good, I think. Yeah, let's just cut down on the Esper Origins. We can cut a land as well. Probably don't need the pit. Try it like that. Okay, well, looks like my opponent is actually fully gone. So, not good data. Good for the record, though. On to the next one. All right. Match 2 on the draw. Pretty good hand. Turn 2 Academic if we want it. Otherwise, a Ghost Vacuum to set up our double lookouts here. Opponent leading on a Restless Reef. I'm going to put them on, like, Deceit Caballero stuff, right? So, rather than be cute and play the tapped Restless Prairie, let's not give them the opportunity to Deceit out the Ghost Vacuum. Just get it on the field turn 1. This is going to go much farther than, like, playing a tapped Restless Prairie and just, like, curving out, quote-unquote. This way we can go turn 2 Restless Prairie, right? Not really losing out too much here, and then begin the onslaught of Freestrider Lookouts. If they put anything in their graveyard, it's a little bit reliant on them putting stuff in their graveyard. We do draw a Tursa, though. Not a bad pickup here. Help us hit our land drops. Terminus of Return from my opponent. Okay. I'm going to lead on the Tursa here first. I think I'm just going to get rid of a Hardened Academic. It's, like, fine. But they probably have, like, a Requiting Hex in hand, right? Not super likely that it'll pay off. And if we want to access it later, it's like a pretty good Ghost Vacuum creature, right? Anything that scales or threatens to actually grow. Okay, opponent casts something, which is good for us. We have to be a little mindful of board wipes. So, as far as, like, taking a step back and thinking about this deck as a whole, by the way, I think the core is pretty good. The Ghost Vacuum plus Freestrider Lookout plus Ark of Hunger idea, it all kind of plays pretty nicely. I feel like the interaction surrounding that package in these colors is a little rough. So you naturally have to be Naya to be playing Freestrider Lookout plus Ark of Hunger, right? But I wonder if you can, like, I also really like the Dredger's Insight, so I feel like Naya makes sense. But I almost wonder if you could be, like, a little more heavily black and splash white, like Jund plus white for Ark of Hunger, because I feel like the removal in black would be a little better. Plus, you'd have access to, like, Duress for like, more interaction, like, just matchups where you have to, like, interact with their hand before they're able to cast stuff. I'm thinking of specifically, like, Landfall. You know, you could get, like, Intimidation Tactics for Landfall. Obviously not Duress. Anyway, but as long as I have an opportunity to show off, like, the core, like, Freestrider looking good, Ark of Hunger looking good, and maybe a turn perhaps where we get to do everything, basically, you know what I mean? Where we, like, have the Ark of Hunger on the field, maybe have 2 Ark of Hungers on the field, and get to, like, drain our opponent out. I feel like I would consider that a success for, like, showing off what this build is capable of. But everything else around it, I'm not sure that it's the most optimal. Just working with what I have in the colors here. I have been impressed by Road. I think the flexibility of being able to hit Planeswalkers and it being, like, 1 mana is really nice. Opponent scoops it up, possibly to the main deck Ghost Vacuum here. That'll just happen sometimes. That will just happen sometimes. Let's see. Let's cut down on a little bit of removal, maybe. Bring in the Surax. Maybe bring in the Voice of Victories. Kind of hard to say what to cut sometimes. We can probably cut a land at the very least. And then... Man, Ark is just so good if you get it on the field. Maybe a Leatherhead. It's like, it's generically pretty good probably against them, but... I think for the most part, having more creatures, like, if I'm bringing in a lot of creatures, kind of makes sense to cut some creatures if they're gonna, like... I had a pretty creature-heavy curve out there. They may have board wipes in games 2 and 3. Leatherhead having hexproof is obviously very good. But I think I like the other creatures a little better here. On the draw, at the very least. I feel like maybe Leatherhead looks a little better on the play. On the draw here again. Really want to see a hand with Ghost Vacuum in the opener. Pretty much every time. Pretty much every time. It's kind of interesting how it's hard to name a deck in Standard that isn't at least trying to benefit from their graveyard at least a little bit, you know? I'm not saying every deck is like a graveyard strategy, but just the way cards are designed these days, right? If you're not like putting at least a little bit of your deck building like power share into benefiting from just things ending up in your graveyard or what have you, I feel like you're kind of missing out. The one example maybe I can think of is like the mono red, right? And maybe like mono white Momo, but those decks aren't that common on the ladder right now. It's been a lot of like 4-color or Jeskai control, which isn't super graveyard dependent, but has like flashback sometimes, right? Or Shiko maybe sometimes. Keep this. Obviously all the Izzet decks are graveyard dependent. Landfall is somewhat graveyard dependent. Any deck, any Dimir deck is going to be pretty graveyard heavy, right? So it kind of lines up pretty nicely. Now, if this were a more like Badgermole Cub like Ouroboros heavy meta, which obviously does have like Nature's Rhythm, right? Typically, I feel like this would be a much worse list in the meta, a much worse choice to play probably, because I don't know, it's not going to be fast enough to beat those lists typically. But you could pivot and maybe play like the main deck Wrath of Gods, right? Or Day of Judgments rather. I think I'm going to go for the Esper Origins here over the Academic. I feel like it's pretty likely they have Requiting Hex now. I'd rather like try to get a hit in with the Hardened Academic, I think, or at the very least have Surak on the field when I go for it, to maybe threaten drawing a card if they go for the removal. Gonna go for the Surak here. Opponent shocks in a Watery Grave. Not quite sure what that'll mean. 3 steps ahead. Okay. Little draw, discard action. I kind of am thinking this is more of like a Reanimator leaning control build, just based on their haste of like how quickly they... Oh no, they got rid of my Ark of Hunger. For some reason I thought it was a Ghost Vacuum. Shoot the Sheriff in the graveyard. Tapped Restless Reef. Ghost Vacuum. Pretty good draw here. Well, let's go for the Academic, I suppose. Play a Ghost Vacuum. They have nothing. I'm going to wait on the Ghost Vacuum here. I could use it to get a little extra damage in, but I think it's probably a little better to play around the possibility of them going like cast a 3 steps ahead, draw discard, put a Valgavoth in their graveyard, and, you know, like maybe we gain 1 damage off of activating the Ghost Vacuum there, but avoiding entirely losing the game to some busted Caballero combo, right? If we don't activate it. Okay, well, pretty clean win. Not much to say about that matchup. Opponent didn't seem to have a whole lot going on, and scooped it up on to match 3. Match 3 on the draw. No white mana to pay off the Day of Judgment or Ark. But we do have a Tursa to be able to just like discard away our bad cards here, I suppose. Not the best opener. Opponent leads on an Elegant Parlor. I'm not thrilled to be playing this matchup if it's the Jeskai control matchup. That is yet to be seen. Could be something else. No, that is pretty much exactly what this is, right? Okay. Go for the ooze. We'll see if they care about this. They might not. They might not. I think we stand a decent chance if we manage to resolve an Ark and they don't have, like, inevitable defeat to manage it, right? But outside of that, it's pretty hard for us to surmount their, like, ability to just consistently draw cards over the course of turns and do their big mana plays with Jeskai Rev. They play a tablet, just getting the mana rock piece out of it here. Exile their consult the star charts here. Get a white source, that's pretty good. Go for the Tursa. Discard away a land and a Day of Judgment here. Although, Day of Judgment, maybe it's worth keeping that. There are going to be some boards eventually where, like, our opponents have all of their, like, monk tokens from the Jeskai Revs, and sometimes just having a board wipe is kind of the only way to actually, like, fight out of that position. But we made a choice. Run to an Emeritus and a Ghost Vacuum. Helix onto the Tursa. Tapping out, not holding up No More Lies mana, although I did just see the winner of the recent RC, I believe, RC Cincy, one with a 4-color control list that did not have No More Lies at all in the list. According to someone in my Discord, shout out. I haven't seen the list personally, but that is what I heard. Go ahead and manage their instance here. To help fight through, like, flashback potential, I suppose. I think I'm going to go for the Ark. I'm going to force them to kind of have a inevitable defeat here, I think is kind of the strat. Maybe not the best plan. Improvisation Capstone, ripping it. Hits a Jeskai Rev. Kind of about the best you could do, huh? Bounces my Ark of Hunger. Fair enough. Go ahead and activate it. Mill a land. I guess we start trying to stabilize our life total a little bit here. Choose to exile the land with the ooze. Freestrider Lookout is kind of a good hit by the nature of allowing us to maybe try to get a little ahead on mana here. I think I'm going to go ahead and shock in this Stomping Ground. Make my Lookout a 4/4. Make it a little harder for them to deal with. Pass it back. They get to resolve another Improvisation Capstone. Kind of nasty. They hit a tablet and a stock up. I think I'm, like, so dead. It's kind of nice. I get to keep them from... Oh, this is in their main? Cast a copy without paying its mana cost at the beginning of each of your main phases. Okay. Stock up. I think I'm toast, gang. I think I'm freaking dead, y'all. Trigger the tablet. They hit in a road. Fair enough. Pretty likely that they'll just go for that. We're dying at a rapid pace. Exile their stock up. Get another Lookout trigger. just way too far ahead on their end. Just like hitting a Jeskai Rev off of the improvisation capstone is like the most value play I think you could ever come up with, right? Like, I have a card that not only immediately like puts me in a disgustingly good position, but also now forever I'm casting improvisation capstone for the rest of the game. Yeah, I think no one would blame me for just scooping here, right? Yeah. Lightning Helix to the face, more prowess triggers. We get it, dude. Bring in our threats, take out our removals. You could argue Doorkeeper Thrall is kind of okay here. Just by the nature of turning off their capstones or their tablets, at least the ETB bit. Cut all of our removal. We don't need it where we're going. And I think we can maybe cut a Ghost Vacuum here. Actually, I think I'd rather cut an Ooze. Everything else is pretty good. Best we can do, I think, is just be sort of as threat heavy as possible. Try to exhaust their removal, and cross our fingers that we get out of the gates a little faster this time. On the play, game 2. Pretty good opener. I like that we have a guaranteed turn 3 Surak. Turn 2 Dredger's Insight looks pretty decent. Just gonna play the Pit of Offerings turn 1. It's fine. Not the best thing to be doing, but as far as the rest of the hand looks, it's gonna be completely okay. Tapped Parlor for my opponent here. Drawn to a Hushwood Verge, not bad. Go for our Dredger's Insight. We hit an Ark, and we have the mana to play it, so let's just grab it. Opponent shocks into Steam Vents, goes for a Voice of Victory. Yeah, I don't care about that at all. Play my Surak. Another Sacred Foundry, not a bad draw. A lot of good threats on our end. Opponent taps out for a stock up. They don't care about my Ark of Hunger at all. Maybe I just go for Chandra here. I think I'm just going to go for Chandra here, because they can't just kill it with the Voice of Victory. And, like, actually having a vehicle is kind of annoying for them, I think. Being able to, like, essentially make my Freestrider Lookouts hasty. Plus, obviously it'll survive board wipes, right? Softens the blow of, like, an inevitable defeat here. Swinging in at the Chandra. They have inevitable defeat mana. Drawn to a Freestrider Lookout. I think I'm going to make another vehicle and play a Freestrider Lookout and crew the first vehicle with the Lookout. Just keep the pressure up this way. I maybe could have gone for the Emeritus of Abundance there. Made better use of my mana that way. Yeah, I think in retrospect I should have played the Emeritus, but it's okay. I have to assume they're gonna, like, inevitable defeat the Surak here. Erode. We get a draw. We draw into the Ooze. That's pretty good, actually. It kind of pays off playing the Lookout instead of the Emeritus. Hit my opponent down to 5. Play the Ooze. See if they counter it, I guess. They do not counter it. I bet they wish they had Ultima right now. I mean, Ultima seems like against certain boards that this deck can create seems pretty good. Not every board, but when you have like a board that's just like Arcs and Oozes and Ghost Vacuums, I'm like, yeah, maybe if you had Ultima right now. They go for an Erode or a flashback on the Erode. Crack the Ooze here, I guess. I don't know if they're trying to bait me into something, but... Oh, and we hit a Conduit Pylons and do the classic, do the Eric MTG classic, surveil Surveil into an Esper Origins. Value. Kills off my Chandra. Kills off my Chandra. Do you guys think Chandra Torch of Defiance will be standard playable when it gets printed into standard again? We were talking about this at F&M on Friday. I think it'll see some play. I don't think it'll be format breaking, and I don't think it'll be like the best thing to be doing in standard, but I think it'll be pretty good. Rutro. Did that give me the win or loss? What? Three games remaining. Weird. That was match 3, right? The game just like bugged out and crashed and okay. The mysterious bonus match that I guess will be lost to history. That's unfortunate. I feel like I could have won that game for sure. Well, I guess I'm gonna restart MTGA and then hop into the next match. Wait, maybe I'm still in the match. I restarted the client. Okay, wait, it's my turn. Okay, great. Wow. That fucking sucks. Wait, why couldn't I attack? Why can't I do any? Oh, it's my opponent's turn. My opponent's turn? Did they also? Did they also like? Did their game break too? It was the whole MTGA client. That's so weird. Triple arc on the Freestrider Lookout trigger. Total whiff. I guess it's my turn now. Try to put this game away. Fire up the vehicles, the nondescript vehicles. I think I like this. And then post combat, put an arc on the field and try to kill them that way. Force them to interact with the vehicles rather than my lookouts here. My opponent might not be here. Okay, the server is continuing to be bad. I'm gonna restart the game again. To combat. Attack. Lightning Helix on a car. Fair enough. Doesn't block with a Voice of Victory. Kind of makes sense. Let's go for the Arc here, I suppose. See if they care about this. They decidedly care about it. Nope, they rip a Consult the star charts. I don't know if they can win from this position. If this is resolving, it's just too much, like, too many different, like, ways that I can sort of, like, threaten to kill them here. Activate the Arc. Hit a Chandra. Not ideal. That's okay. Let's pop a mutagen token on a Freestrider Lookout here. But I think it's too little too late. They only have 6 mana to work with this turn. They didn't have like a crazy tablet setup, but they're just like super far ahead. I maybe could have played that last turn better. I was a little bit stun locked by the like network difficulties and just wanted to make sure that I took a turn, you know, before my timer shit the bed again, I guess. I don't know. Here we are. Come on, server. You can do it. And they keep hitting me with the Phyrexian tooltip. And it's like, I don't know. Is there something going on behind the scenes? Is Elish Norn fucking me over? Emeritus of Ideation. We're so back. I think they're just dead though, right? Swings in with a Voice of Victory. You have to block with that. Go for the ooze. Let's do crimes here. Get more mana to work with this turn. Doorkeeper Thrall. Okay. Activate the Ark. Hit a Tursa. Tursa also interestingly will trigger the Ark here. Cast the Tursa, trigger the Ark. I mean when Tursa attacks. I think in this position we can discard the Thrall and the Leatherhead. Just try to go for the throat here. Emeritus. We can activate the Emeritus. I mean, I think there are about a million things we can do here, right? Play the Emeritus out. Crew up the vehicle. Let's return. I guess we'll return an Emeritus to have in case somehow all of this goes awry. Trigger the Ark. Trigger the Dredger's Insight. Go up to 19. Move to attackers. Crew up the vehicle. Simply too many attackers. I don't think there's anything they can do here. Maybe they're AFK, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel like maybe they're waiting for me to, like, disconnect again. I don't know. Erode on the Tursa. Yeah, that's fine. That is A-okay. Hitcha. Come on. Let's move on to the next one. We got a game 3 to play. We're still in this, despite the network difficulties. On to game 3. Game 3, match 3, to maintain the 3-0 record. Or to achieve a 3-0 record, rather. I think as far as the list goes, we run it back. Maybe we cut a land here. Pit of Offerings, maybe not super important. Although, they've demonstrated they have flashbacks. I think I like the conduit pylons though. Let's cut a pit for a pylons. Sorry, a pit for an ooze. Actually, maybe I want a couple erodes. Like if they're gonna bring in like the Emerituses as a way to fight against what we're doing here. Maybe the thralls aren't that important. Let's go like one erode, one thrall. I think that kind of makes sense to me. Maybe you can make an argument for the first Day of Judgment too, on the draw. I don't think that's that crazy. We are pretty creature heavy post board though. Let's just run it like this. I don't think Heritage Rack is necessarily worth it to manage their tablets. Maybe if they just like play it as a mana rock, though, it is. Heritage Rack, a pretty good sideboard card for us. Another way to like snipe things out of the graveyard, right? Yeah, actually, I think maybe the mana off of the rock is more important for us to manage than the card itself. If they go turn 3 rock into like turn 4, turn 5 capstone, I don't think we're feeling very good about that. Okay, let's do 1 ooze, 2 Heritage Racks. Try to manage the tablets that way. I think this is a fine hand. A little slow, a little directionless, but we have our colors. Have a Ghost Vacuum. Just lead on a Ghost Vacuum here. Couple Dredger's Insight to set up. And actually, like, if we have a board with like a million insights, the life is going to add up for us. Like, the way they do have to kill us via damage, probably. I don't think it's super likely necessarily that they're on Mathemagics. They maybe have one in the sideboard for this kind of matchup. Go for a Dredger's Insight. They hit the Consult. We hit a Surak. I'm going to go for the Surak here. The earlier I can get this kind of thing on the field, the better. Tablet. Yeah, I think I'm going to kill the tablet, right? Rather than go for the Surak here. Eat their stock up. I actually think it's kind of meaningful taking them off of that early mana. And we also draw into a Voice of Victory, which is pretty nice. Eat the Consult here. I'm gonna go for the Surak as opposed to the Voice first. Because they can counter the Voice, but they can't counter the Surak. I can't recall really through all of the scrapping if we've actually seen whether or not they do have the counter magic in their list. They go for an Erode on Surak. I mean, kind of big value for us. Let's grab a white source. I think that's okay. Probably doesn't super matter what we grab. Dredger's Insight in hand, hopefully to find an Ark at this point, now that we have a lot of mana to work with. Another Heritage Wreck in hand. And we might be disconnecting again. I think my opponent has a lag switch. All right, we're back in it. Oh, come on. Let me grab a land. Dog. This game is so cursed. This match is cursed. Wizards. Refund my refund my event cost. Come on. Okay, so now I'm on this screen. It's only giving me the option to decline, looking at whatever this is. Okay. Opponent's casting a tablet. I guess I didn't get my basic. Okay. Deep breaths. Oh, this kind of blows. This kind of sucks a lot. Try to reset again. Okay, we're back. It's my turn. I get to go for a Heritage Wreck on their tablet again, I guess. Makes sense to me. They let that happen. We'll play a Voice of Victory. We're in. I'm not giving up. As like tilting as this may be, I still think this game is winnable. I'm not sure what they hit off of this new tablet. Maybe that Erode? I don't know. It must not have been the Erode. Inevitable defeat. Fair enough. That's probably true. I don't think I can win the game. Like, if I'm also fighting the second opponent, which is the network connection. It's a 2v1 we've got on our hands. Well, we draw into an Ark of Hunger. Do I play around No More Lies? 2, 3. I guess I can't play around No More Lies, right? So I might as well just go for the Ark. Cross my fingers that this resolves. Looks like it resolves. We'll activate it. We hit a Leatherhead. A little unfortunate that we can't cast that. It would be pretty good in this position. Go for our Dredger's Insight. I guess I could have played around Spell Pierce, but playing my other land first, maybe in retrospect, that would have been better. I mean, it obviously clearly is not playing out in a way that would have mattered, but I was only thinking about No More Lies. Dredger's Insight. We already have a Ghost Vacuum. I think maybe we take the Hardened Academic here. Trigger my Insights and my Ark. Pass it back. I mean, if my opponent just like goes Capstone into Jeskai Rev again, I guess I probably can't win that game. Feels like they're holding up a Rev now. Just gonna start activating my Ghost Vacuum on myself here. Try to get a little life cushion going. The Wonder Road maybe not looking too good right now. Draw into another Ghost Vacuum. It's not a bad hit. Activate the Ark. Maybe they don't have anything. Maybe they have absolutely nothing. Play the Hardened Academic. Play the Forest from our graveyard. Trigger my stuff. Go for another Ghost Vacuum before I activate my first one here. Okay. Swing in? Question mark? Maybe they don't have anything. Maybe they're just going to activate their Quarry Mountain Monastery here. I think I'm just going to activate the one Ghost Vacuum here. Play around possible like flashback on the Consult. Although you would think they would just go for that. Like while I have my Ghost Vacuum tapped, right? They do have a Jeskai Rev. They're hitting me in the face with it. Interesting. Bouncing my Ghost Vacuum. Okay. We'll pass. Continue to hold up the Ghost Vacuum in case they do have, like, land plus flashback. I don't think they can, like, kill me this turn, probably. Seer on the Hardened Academic. Okay. There's the Emeritus. Shocks and Esteem Vents. Okay. Not giving me a window to kill this. I thought I maybe had a chance there for a second, but no. Draws 3. Not super ideal. Well, if I hit another Ark of Hunger off of my Ark of Hunger, maybe I have a chance here. I'm going to go for the Erode on the Emeritus. Clear the way for a possible Restless Prairie attack. Exile my Hardened Academic here. Gain a lot of life. Ping them for 1. Surak. Activate the Ark. Freestrider Lookout. I guess I just play out my hand here. I think I'm gonna opt to maybe do Crimes. Exile their Emeritus seems kind of good. I don't know if I can get the blue mana to Ancestral Recall. Plays a land, 5 cards in hand. That's not like that many. It's kind of, you know, it's a lot, but I also have an Ark they kind of have to deal with eventually. Ghost Vacuum kind of popping. Jeskai Rev. Double trigger my Surak. Interestingly enough. Draw 2. Draw 2 lands. Do I go for a Crime here? I think I'm going to probably use this to exile like one of my Ghost Vacuums. Bounces my Lookout. They're up to 16. Yeah, this is kind of the problem. Like, eventually they're just gonna have a board of monks, and I didn't end up bringing in my Day of Judgment. It would have looked like really good here, you know. Once again, I think I'm in a position where my best draw is like another Ark to pay off these Ghost Vacuums. Gain 3 life. Esper Origins is not bad. Activate the Ark. Land. Maybe I should have like surveilled before activating the Ark there. Go for the Esper Origins. Skip on those. I think I'm gonna fully cast this. Skip on those. Just trying to dig for more Ark, I think. Get a land. Okay. Play a Freestrider Lookout. Let's just pass here. I don't think I need to rip like a crime right away. Keep my options open. I can threaten gaining. I do have 2 artifacts in my graveyard, so I can threaten gaining 6 life. But triple land in hand, I gotta be real with you. I mean, that's like a little bit of an unfortunate result for us. And we hit a land off the Ark of Hunger mill. Kind of a crazy pocket. Stock up. Gonna be some big prowess guys. A lot of mana available for my opponent. Swinging out. Well, I'm gonna make blocks here. That's allowed. I wonder if they're gonna go for a Day of Judgment here. I wonder if they have like a handful of board wipes. That'd be kind of weird. Ultima. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. Let's do a little draining here while we can, I suppose. Actually, yeah, let's go for a crime. Maybe we hit another man land, and that's kind of relevant in this position. Exile one of their Jeskai Revs. Not a man land. Ultima, pretty good. Don't love it. Hit and Esper Origins. One of our better top decks for sure. Maybe I do want a Restless Ridgeline draw. No, probably not. I think I'm going to skip both of these. So I think I want to play an untapped land to be able to swing in with the Restless Prairie here. Hit another Esper Origins. Emeritus is a pretty nice hit for us. I'm going to go for that rather than swing in with the Restless Prairie. Pick up my Ark. If this resolves. Flash freeze, pretty good. Okay, your turn. Mobilize trigger for some reason. Oh, Ultima, I guess. Delayed the mobilize trigger. That's interesting. 4 cards for my opponent. Esper Origins in my graveyard here. Draw into an Ark. Huge. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. With the extra mana I have available here. Cross my fingers that this is good. 2 Jeskai Revs left for my opponent, presumably. Flashback onto a Flash Freeze and not a Jeskai Rev? Seems a little small potatoes, no? I'm kind of surprised that they're not just going for a full Jeskai Rev here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, unless they just have another one in hand. I'm just going to swing here with the Esper Modwin. They have the Great Hall of the Biblioplex. Okay. Locks Esper Modwin. Do they have a trigger for this? Or 2 triggers? They just don't want to take the 4. Really curious about their hand. Really weird that they didn't go for a big Jeskai Rev there, right? I think I want the Restless Ridgeline now. I haven't played a land yet. And then next turn I can fire up both of these. Let's set a stop in my upkeep in case I untap with my this Esper Modwin. They go for a Helix. They're running out of cards. They wouldn't be if they had gone for the Jeskai Rev flashback. Go to draw. Hardened Academic. Okay. I guess I just go for a big attack here, right? There's not much else to be done. I don't think there's any way to play this, like, cutely. Just gotta hope they have nothing but land in hand. Helix. I don't have any way to force anything to leave my graveyard right now. Okay. Swing on in. What's your last card, bub? A road? You have a road, and now we're both like super top decking? Oh, you... you motherfucker. You absolute motherfucker. Bounces my Esper Origins, though. That seems like a mistake. To kill off the Restless Ridgeline. 13 cards left in my deck. Let's discard this Esper Origins to give my Hardened Academic lifelink this turn, and then I'll be able to cast the Esper Origins from... I'll be able to flash it back. Oh no, I already played a land. Yeah, whatever. I think that's okay. Go up to 32. Opponent has 3 cards in hand now. Quarry Mountain Monastery on the field. This has been a bizarre match all around, both in gameplay and with all the technical difficulties, although crossing my fingers, those seem to have stopped, thankfully. Back to me. Ark of Hunger. Only 12 cards left in my deck, but we're going to go for it. Only 1 rev left for my opponent. It'll land. It probably doesn't matter whether or not I shock. I'm going to go for the shock just in case. Cast this Esper Origins, grow the Hardened Academic. Seer. Okay. 11 cards left in our deck. Does the Esper Origins resolve? The ooze. I like drawing the ooze here. Continue to exile stuff out of my graveyard. Pad my life total that much further. Also be able to react to future flashbacks, although it's probably only likely that they're on 2. I actually think it's probably better to go for, like, just exile something out of my graveyard now and put a counter on my Esper Motto in to play around, like, them top decking a Seer, maybe. I actually think, like, holding up my ooze activation and just, like, waiting for them to maybe draw a flashback is more likely to lead to me losing than putting pedal to the metal and, like, proactively using the ooze. Could be wrong, though. Draws into a Voice of Victory. I'm at 35 life, which is not nothing in this matchup. I do have to find a way to close out the game. Let's set an upkeep stop so I can activate my Ark of Hunger in the upkeep just to play this Conduit Pylons, I guess. Draw into an Esper Origins. Into my main. Do I have any arcs left in the deck? 1, 2. Are there any in exile? 3. Okay, so this is my last arc, unfortunately. Do I have any Hardened Academics left? I mean, that's probably the best hit now, right? Oh, there's an Emeritus. Okay, that's actually the best hit. So we go Esper Origins, trigger the Arc, cast the Emeritus. I think I'm just going to pick up... I'm going to pick up the... Do I just pick up another Emeritus? Just try to do that back and forth forever? I think so. All the while sort of pinging my opponent away here. I want to draw this Dredger's Insight because I don't want to mill myself, but at the same time, I don't know that I'm allowed to play it. I think milling myself 4 right now is probably a bad idea. I think I'm gonna pass like this. I think I'm gonna like swing with this Esper Origins first, though. This has turned into like a crazy grind. We're gaining like 9 life every turn cycle, basically. Maybe not quite 9. Something close to that, though. I'm just gonna play as if they have like kind of nothing here. They could do some kind of prowess shenanigan, something. They just Chumperino. Maybe I do play another Emeritus. I feel like that's how I lose, though. Like, if I play the Emeritus and they wipe the board, I have no way to fight back into that game. But if I just hold on to this, now I can, like, Emeritus back and forth forever. If what they have is a board wipe or what have you. Like, Ultima, I might be able to fight through even. Trigger my Esper Modwins. Trigger the Ooze. I think what I do... I think maybe I'm incentivized to prepare this Emeritus first. So that I can use this one to grab an Ark. And then I can use the second Emeritus. Like, I can just continue to hold on to the second Emeritus, right? I feel like grabbing an Ark for the extra damage seems pretty good. Do they block and kill my Emeritus of Abundance here, though? 4, 5, 6, 6. And then a Prowess trigger, I guess, will kind of range me a little bit. I mean, I definitely attack, though. Question is, do I go for, like, an Ooze activation first? I'm going to hold the Ooze now. Just going to swing here. Prepare my Emeritus. This has turned into such a crazy match, dude. 6 cards left in the deck, by the way. 21 for my opponent. Fires up the Great Hall. They may send everything in front of my Emeritus. Oh, they're blocking the Esper Modwin. Trumple, a bit of a problem for my opponent. Blocking the Emeritus, maybe taking 6? Question mark. And then blocking Esper Modwin. This is not lethal on the Emeritus unless they have a spell to cast here. And they wouldn't block like this if they didn't have a spell to cast, right? Inevitable defeat. Onto the Emeritus. Not bad. Okay. It might not be enough, though. Ooze triggers. Get some mutagens. Their dudes die. I'm at 44. I get to go for another Emeritus activation here, I think. I'm going to grab another Ark. Trigger my stuff. Play another Ark. I probably should have activated this one first. I am going to activate this, even though, like, milling 1 is a lot different than milling 4 in this position, you know what I mean? Let's activate the other one. Get some choices. Tursa. I mean, Tursa is interesting here. It's actually probably better to play Tursa. I'm not going to discard and draw. But, like, attacking with Tursa is another way to trigger the Arcs, right? Next turn. Maybe the internet's going bad again. Dude, Nagao has a lag switch, 100%. Something is going on their side where it's like, right when things are looking bright for me, like, just flip the little switch. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Cast the Tursa, please. Yes? Okay. The ops are out to get me. I'm at 49 life. 51. Cast the Tursa. Decline. Maybe I might as well play the land. Pass. Probably should have cracked a mutagen too while I was at it. Activates their Corny Mountain Monastery. Hits a Lightning Helix. Yeah, I kind of wish I had cracked the mutagen on the Tursa. We'll see if it matters. Tablet of Discovery. What are you discovering? You only have one Jeskai Rev left. They hit an inevitable defeat. Yeah, it's not good for me. I kind of need to be able to activate this Emeritus, I think. They do go for the inevitable defeat on the Emeritus. Man, I really wish I had cracked the mutagen on the Tursa. I feel like just like constantly disconnecting over and over has really sort of killed any sort of lock in that I'm able to attain here. I really tried to fight. Kills the Tursa. Man, that's really annoying. It hits me? Yeah, okay. I'm at 48. Not sure how much that matters. Well, I don't think I can get anything out of my graveyard at this point. Maybe my best draw right now is like top deck exactly like another Ghost Vacuum or something. And try to kill them over the course of the next couple turns. I do have one Ghost Vacuum left. Another Dredger's Insight. Well, I think I have to like mill myself here, unfortunately. Voice of Victory. This has to be a Ghost Vacuum right now. Okay. Cast my stuff. Oh, I only have 1 minute left on my timer. Oh. Dude, that's crazy. Okay, let's Ghost Vacuum my Emeritus. Actually, are they both exiled? They've both been exiled. Okay, good to know. I'm just going to go for this so I can pass, basically. Cross my fingers that this is maybe enough and they have to top deck to win. Burn my opponent for 1,000,000 damage. Pop my mutagens here. I have one card left to draw. I'm actually, I think I see the writing on the wall. I'm not sure that I can win. I could deduce exactly what my last card is if I had time. But I don't have time, unfortunately. Like, if it's an instant, then the right play is to activate the Ark of Hunger in my upkeep, right? Guarantee I have an extra card to work with. They top deck a flashback off the tablet. Curses me a little for not holding up my graveyard hate, but honestly, this match was just so fucked from the start. They're going to be able to cast a anything they want, obviously, here. Yeah, really bad omens, to be honest. Like, I think I definitely could have won that match had the network issues not, like, persisted the entire time and, like, really thrown everything off. Unfortunate. On to match 4 here. I'm going to restart my computer. Restart the client at least one more time for good measure. Match 4 on the play. Got a mulligan that. No green mana. This is pretty good. Good enough, perhaps. I think I'm going to skip on the Tursa. Yeah, let's skip on the Tursa here. Just lead on a forest. Pass. A little bummed about that last match, not going to lie. If the network issues persist, I may just have to scrap this video and maybe it won't see the light of day. But if you're watching this, at least we made it through. But I'll leave it at that. That's the last I'll say about the last match. Let's focus on this one now. Opponent leads on a Spire Bluff Canal, Storm Chaser's Talent. The Ooze looking to line up pretty nicely here, and we draw a red source, pretty nice. Let's just go for the ooze here. Make sure we resolve that. Keep them off their ability to work with their graveyard here. Probably just looking at Treasure's Insight next turn. Tapped Sacred Foundry. I could also just cast an Emeritus. Maybe it's a decent window to go for that. Block on the ground. Hits me for 2. Yeah, let's just go for the Emeritus here, actually. Seems okay. 3-4, kind of a problem for them. Seeing a lot of Impractical Joke as a common removal piece for them. We can just threaten to hit them over and over here. I don't think I'm going to block if they swing with the Otter. I'd rather not give them that opportunity, unless they're like fully tapped out. Shocks and a Steam Vents down to 18. Basics on the Storm Chaser's talent. That's fine. So now they can't really swing into me. 3-4, kind of coming in clutch. Pretty good stat line for our mid-range creature here. Start eating away at their graveyard. And they scoop it up. Sometimes the main deck graveyard hate is kind of goated. Well, bringing the Voice of Victories. Let's cut the Day of Judgment. I'm not a huge Day of Judgment fan in this matchup necessarily. I don't think the Hardened Academics are very good here, but I think Surak is okay. Otherwise, kind of keep it like this. Seer doesn't hit crabs, and for that reason, I'm out. Let's cut a Pylons, go down to 24 lands. This all seems okay to me. You know, if they have a super fast start with a lot of creatures, maybe we'll regret not having a Day of Judgment, but especially post-board, that's not really how these matches tend to play out, or these games tend to play out. But we'll see. I mean, they obviously have a pretty big advantage being on the play. Sounds good. Storm Chaser's talent. Let's go for the Ghost Vacuum. Play around a Spell Pierce, perhaps. A Road doesn't line up very nicely against their little otters, right? They're pretty happy to take the land, but if this is a more cantrip-centric hand, then maybe we're feeling okay. Leaving up a mana, interesting. Could be a Spell Piercer or Spell Snare. Fortunately for us, not too many 2-drops to worry about there. There's the Ooze. I'm not going to play into the Spell Pierce or Spell Snare here. We already have a Ghost Vacuum on the field. No need to shock ourselves just to run out the Ooze and have it get countered. Boomerang Basics on the talent. Filling up the board with Otters. We've all seen this before. Maybe this is a window to go for an Erode on the Otter. Just to keep their material somewhat low. Keep our life total high. I think this is okay. It's early enough ramp for them that it's going to be meaningful, but at a certain point, the way they pay off having a lot of mana is something like Storm Chaser's talent, right? And with our Ghost Vacuum on the field, I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem. Go for the Emeritus here. Pretty nice block skis. Pretty good into their 1 mana available. We can threaten to a return in a road if we need to. Burst Lightning fully kicked onto the Emeritus. That's fine. I think I'm going to go for the Ark of Hunger here. I have to shock myself to do it, which I don't love. But if I get to resolve this, I think I'm feeling pretty good. And we have the Ooze and the Dredger's Insight to really fight back on life total pretty quickly on the following turns. Hits me for 1. They can't cast a crab, interestingly enough. We'll go ahead and mill. Pretty unlikely that they have a Braid, but maybe they do. Exile our Ghost Vacuum with Ghost Vacuum, trigger the Ark, do a little drain. Draw into a Freestrider Lookout. Well, let's activate our Ark first. Always best to have, like, the most information we can. The interesting thing about casting Esper Origins off of the Ark, by the way, is I get to spend 2 mana to cast it from my graveyard, right? Which will have it enter as the flipped side, which is kind of interesting. I think I just want to hit land here. I'm still kind of thinking about the possibility of them having, like, Spell Pierce. I think I'm just going to go for the Freestrider Lookout here. Seems like they don't really have a whole lot going on, to be honest with you. Burst Lightning kicked onto the Esper Mono, and they're in fucking shambles right now. There's no other way to say it. They are in shambles. I think I'll just pass. I could exile the Burst Lightning now to keep them off of Crab, but they have Crab mana as it is, right? Tap my Freestrider Lookout. It's 6 mana, 5/5. Tap my Freestrider Lookout. Okay. Fine, you got it. I think I kind of want to draw on the Dredger's Insight. Is that crazy? I think I'm just gonna Ghost Vacuum myself this turn. No, let's get the Crime Trigger. Oh no. Okay, well, not exactly where I want to be. Mill on the Ark, hit another Ark, and they scoop it up to that. Okay. All right, 3 and 1. 3 and the 1 is like an asterisk 1 because of y'all know what happened, but we're not talking about it anymore. On to the final match. Match 5. On the draw, opponent takes a mulligan. Pretty good hand if I had a green source. Much worse hand. See if my opponent also mulligans to 5. We can both mulligan to 5. I think I'm pretty happy going pretty low on cards. We can do a lot with a little. Down to 5. Okay. Pretty good 5. I think I'm going to get rid of the Get Lost. Run it like this. Cross my fingers that the Get Lost doesn't matter. Restless Anchorage from my opponent. It could be anything. My opponent is an elephant. Why does this elephant look so realistic, by the way? Straight out of Nat Geo. Starting town, High Noon. High Noon, it's kind of good against me. It's kind of good against me. Not gonna lie. Hit him with the Ooze. See how relevant that is. Blue-white Flash. Blue-white Tempo. I don't know what the kids are calling it these days. Blue-white High Noons. Draw another Ooze. Not ideal. Try to get you with the Freestrider Lookout. I'm assuming this is just going to get countered. Or anged or interrupted or whatever. Once it's on the field, though, it's like pretty good against what they're trying to do, though, right? Just the fact that it's like a 3/3 reach that fights all of their creatures, right? Just big enough. Just bigger than anything they have. Esper Origins. Go for the Lookout. Pass it to you. Flood Pit's Drowner. Yeah, I'm a very sorcery speed deck, so like the High Noon being able to like really cut down my options is pretty annoying. But they fully swing in here, fire up the Restless Anchorage, shock in Multiversal Passage, cracking a map. It's a Hollowed Fountain, Day of Judgment. Huh. Day of Judgment. I actually think I'm supposed to Esper Origins, though. Right? Because if I Day of Judgment, like, Freestrider Lookout, if they have nothing, Freestrider Lookout eventually blocks their board pretty nicely. Yeah, I don't love it. Treasure's Insight's not that good of a hit. Kind of demands, like, me double spelling to be good, right? I don't think I'm likely to win this one, but depends. I mean, if they start putting things in their graveyard and I can actually, like, get a little ahead on mana, maybe? Shocks in a Hollowed Fountain. Oy. I mean, they're just going to counter this, and it's kind of GG at that point, right? Wanshi Tong. Well, that's fine. It is a 5/5. That's pretty big. A road on top. A road is pretty good for us, I think. Eventually. Play a land. No attacks. Pass it to ya. Pretty dead to this Wanshi Tong. Hits me for 5. Decides against swinging in. I do have to block it on account of the High Noon being able to kill me. So I get to go for a Day of Judgment next turn. Flood Pit's Drowner. On the Esper Modeling, that's fine. Land. Guess we'll make an Ooze, or make a Mutagen. Pretty dunzo. Feeling pretty dunzo. I mean, if they don't have an answer to the Day of Judgment, maybe I'm still fighting in this. Maybe I'm still fighting in this one. Go for it. I can pay for a No More Lies. Oh, it's good. Great. Pass it back. Enduring Curiosity. Okay. Well, I will be able to kill that and exile it with the Erode. Erode plus Ooze combo. So that's not bad. I mean, if they do have a No More Lies at this point, it's not great for me. I'm not giving up, though. I fight to the bitter end. As we saw in match 3, which we won't talk about. But I will fight to the bitter end. Voice of Victory. Show enough. Nope. Guess it's Esper Origins for me. You have a spell snare? Dude, imagine? Okay. Yeah, I am dead to that. They can just High Noon me. Hit me with a voice. Okay. I think this is a winnable matchup. Why not? Bring in the Doorkeeper Thralls. Bring in the Surax. Bring in the Seers. I think we want like 2 Day of Judgments, 2 Voice of Victories. What's like actively bad here? I actually think like the Ark plan is not that good because it involves casting stuff from the graveyard, which like Aven Interrupter naturally is good against. We don't need as many like graveyard hate pieces probably. Treasure's Insight's a little bit do nothing maybe. The life gain's not irrelevant. I think Hardened Academic is pretty likely to be awarded. Although it's cheap, which is nice. Maybe we cut a land here, cut a Pit of Offerings. Is Leatherhead good here? Hexproof is not bad, right? I think our creatures line up pretty nicely, actually. A nice little mix of everything going on. I cut an Esper Origins. Let's try it like this. I don't want to cut all of the arcs, because there are going to be some boards where it looks good, but I think having more creature-based threats is probably the way to go. On the play. Pretty good hand. Loving the Doorkeeper Thrall here. We'll go Sacred Foundry tapped, Conduit Pylons. Flash in a Thrall. Maybe I just play it on my turn, depending. That was a mold of 5 also. I had to mold a 5, they mold to 6. It is what it is. Maybe in retrospect, had I kept my, like, 7 card opener and hit a green source with those Dredger's Insights, maybe. I think I'm just going to go for the Thrall now. Play around No More Lies. This is, like, pretty good against them if they don't immediately answer it. They have to, like, deal with it before being able to, like, manage anything else, I guess. High Noon on the field. Not going to be as troublesome. Once again, like, Ark is pretty bad into High Noon. I kind of feel okay cutting 1. Blood Pit's Drowner, huh? So their hand is kind of garbage. Well, that's good for me. Let's just play creatures and hit them. I actually think Doorkeeper Thrall is kind of good right now, just in general. Do I just, like, fire up the Restless Prairie here? I can't, like, I can't get super blown out by that, I think. Unless they have just, like, a Get Lost, I guess. But then I'm still drawing a card. Maybe I just swing. Play the Freestrider Lookout post-combat. Maven Interrupter gets to block my Thrall. Yeah, I guess this is the possibility I should have considered. Like, if I swung with the Restless Prairie, then they wouldn't be able to go for that line. Still, I have a pretty good board. Hard to imagine them, like, really being able to fight back through this. Even if they Avatar's Wrath here. I think it's maybe too little too late. I'm going to go for the Academic as opposed to firing up the man lands, just because Aang is so good against the man lands. Aang's kind of good at, you know, blocking the Academic too, obviously. Blood Pit's Drowner. We get to draw off Surak. Hit a land. Swing on in. Double blocks a Lookout. Interesting. They're untapping with nothing. Nothing on the field. They're not dead to a man land if they have an Avatar's Wrath here. But I can put them to 1, and all it takes is top decking a desert at that point. LMAO. Beza. Pretty good. Very good. Doorkeeper Thrall. Not bad. Beza, like, is actually super good. Super good. I guess I just hold the Thrall. Wow, Beza is really good. Yeah, I guess I played that turn where I swing in with the Thrall kind of wrong, in retrospect. And they have an Abandoned Air Temple to work with. A little rough. Avatar's Wrath. Okay. Exiling everything. Huh. They swing with the land. They're not dead, but it's, like, pretty close. I can't cast... like, if I play the Ark, I can't cast whatever I hit because of Avatar's Wrath here. I think I'm just going to swing with the Ridgeline. Hit them down to 2. Keep them from being able to shock in lands. Doorkeeper Thrall continuing to be pretty good against them. Yeah, Beza won't trigger. RIP in peace. I guess I just fire up the ridgeline again here. Maybe the prairie's better. Prairie's better into like Aven Interrupter. Try to go for lethal. And then I just play Surak post-combat, I guess. There's the Aang, so we can bounce off each other here. Forces them to spend the Aang, though. Play a Surak. With them being at 2, I feel like pretty good about the Ark in hand. It's just kind of a matter of navigating their non-creature-based interaction, I guess. Doorkeeper Thrall doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Happy to see the second one. Tapped Anchorage. 3 cards in hand. 1 treasure available. So they can high noon something if they want to. Dredger's Insight. Yeah, I guess we go for the Ark. See if that'll help us go the distance here. Best hit here is a land. We do hit a land. Ping them down to 1. Now we don't have to swing to kill them. See if they sacrifice the high noon to kill my Thrall, I guess? They do. Huh. We get our draw. No more high noon to deal with, which is nice. But see if they have like another Beza or a way to flicker Beza here. Fight back on life total. I'm still feeling pretty okay. They're going to have to be very, you know, pull all the stops as far as like spending their resources, burning their resources goes here. Another Avatar's Wrath. But they're not really managing my Ark here. They get to Beza again. They go back up to 5. But that's it. They don't get to draw. They do get a treasure. Activate the Ark. Hit a Get Lost. So I can just Get Lost the... right, the Avatar's Wrath. The Avatar's Wrath. The Avatar's Wrath. Okay. I guess I should have waited on activating the Ark for their turn. The Avatar's Wrath. Well, I guess I go for a Dredger's Insight here. They have a Spell Snare. And then maybe I just Day of Judgment? The Beza? Just hitting a land. I'll take a Restless Prairie. Put them down to 4. Play a Lookout, I guess, and pass. Yeah, I guess I wish I had thought about the Avatar's Wrath. I did earlier. Completely forgot. Taking 4, down to 10. They have another Wrath here. They're playing Aang. Oh, they're flickering Beza the Aang way. Go up to 8. Okay. I think this is okay still. They're not getting creatures. They're not getting a redraw. They're just using it to gain life, get treasures. High noon. High noon's pretty annoying. I'm going to wait on activating the Hunger, I guess. The Ark. Because I think right now I'm just going to board wipe and then fire up a manland. I guess if I do that, then maybe like hitting a land off the Ark is my best hit anyway. Esper Origins. Maybe I go for that. I can Esper Origins and swing in with a ridge-lined Lookout. Will gain me some pretty useful life as well. Spell Snare. Okay. Not ideal. Oh, man. High Noon is a card. I think I maybe need to hold back my lands to block with, like chump with. Keep them from swinging in with Beza here. Oh, High Noon. Why? It's just like actually frustratingly good against what I'm trying to do for no reason, really. It's not like I'm like prowess, right? I think I'm just gonna block here. If they want to fire up their abandoned air temple, you're more than welcome to spend your turn doing that. They fire up the abandoned air temple. Okay. Then I think I just wiped the board, right? 2 mana available. I can pay for a No More Lies. The ooze. Activate the Ark anyway. Could hit a Get Lost here. Voice of Victory. Nah. Go for the Day of Judgment. Fire up a Ridgeline. It's ridged. Try to hit you for 3. It's not nothing. Wanchi Tong for the chumps? Wanchi Tong for the chumps? That seems desperate. Another High Noon. Okay. Well, that's fine. Red Source. Activate the... Well, you know what? I might as well go for the Esper Origins first. Set up my top deck to be a land, right? If I can. I mean, Leatherhead's, like, pretty good here, though, right? I'll just draw the Leatherhead, and then... try to go for a land here, I suppose. I don't think it makes sense to, like, use this as a way to grab instants, you know what I mean? But they rip the Aang. I still can fire up a man land, though, right? This seems a little premature. Another Ark. Well, that's okay. Hit you for 3. Like, yeah, and they scoop it up to that. Okay. I was just gaining too much life. I think that was part of the problem for them. Like, they don't have a particularly aggressive... They don't have, like, aggressive creatures, right? They just chip away and when they have tempo. And in that case, it was just too much life that I was gaining for them to really meaningfully fight back against me. I guess we just run it back. I don't really have any great answers to the High Noons other than the Heritage Rex, but they're not very broadly good here. I think I just rely on the Get Losts maybe and cross my fingers that they don't have the High Noons. Obviously, I can win through it, right? But it does make for a much more challenging game. All right, match 5, game 3 for all the marbles. I think this is okay. Not great. A Voice of Victory is a good draw. Lead on a tap Stomping Ground here. Opponent for sure has a Spell Snare here. I think I'm just going to go for the Dredger's Insight to try to bait it out rather than run in the Voice of Victory. Feel okay about that. I think I go for the Lookout this turn and then next turn go for try to double spell, like if they airbend or plot this. Swing in for 2. Curious to know about the state of their hand. Let's go for the Lookout first. I think it's better to do this than go for the Voice. Go for the Voice. Wanchi Tong, fine. All right, we get to untap. Well, we get to present a pretty good board here at the very least. Abandoned Air Temple for my opponent. Might just rip it. I'm not going to block. I don't feel very good about feeding my Lookout into the chipper there. We get to untap, and I get to cast a Leatherhead. Or Do I just double remove their stuff here? I could, like, erode the Wanshi Tong, swing in Leatherhead. But that's not very good into them having, like, Avatar's Wrath as a follow-up. Let's get lost to the Wanshi Tong and then maybe hold up the erode. We whiff on the... We whiff on the crime trigger. I think I'm going to hold up the erode. It's a little better into them having, like, Beza. I get to get an extra crime trigger. Yes, I'm allowing them to untap, which is maybe not that great. But now their Beza is a little worse if they have an Aang on the field, right? Creature count being at parity. Heroic Strike on the lookout. I'm going to try an erode here. Do crimes. I really want to hit a man land. I have an erode for my Voice of Victory in response. Okay. Grab a plains. Hit a man land. Well, we get to get a Leatherhead going, which kind of looks pretty good outside of them having, like, Avatar's Wrath, I suppose. And it seems like it's going to resolve. Player Sacred Foundry. Pass it to you. Swamp Stalker. Day of Judgment. Okay. I'm going to wait on the Ridgeline. I don't feel that compelled to send it in quite yet. Force them to use their, like, Aang and whatever to chump with. Wanshi Tong is big. I kind of wish I had swung with the Ridgeline now, in retrospect. Rode the Wanshi Tong. I guess it's better to let them draw first. Technically. Better to let them draw first. Yeah, I guess in retrospect I should have swung with the Ridgeline. Beza. Beza kind of good right now. Three cards available for them. Wanshi Tong looking kind of huge. Avatar's Wrath on top. Leaving it there. Fair enough. We draw a Get Lost. Okay. I'm gonna go for it. What a top deck. Sky Coach Conductor to be able to flicker the Beza. Flickers the Beza. Doesn't get maps. Doesn't get life. Doesn't get cards. Just keeps the body around. I can swing in with the Restless Ridgeline. Buff up the Leatherhead here. I'm not dead next turn. I think I like swinging with the Ridgeline, knowing they're about to top deck an Avatar's Wrath. Knowing I have this Day of Judgment in hand. I feel like I might as well try to go for maximum carnage. Trade these off. Tapped land. Draw a Hardened Academic. Okay. Not the worst draw. It's something I can do with the Ridgeline. I can fire up the Ridgeline on top of this. I have an Aang for my Ridgeline. Oh, I hate this interaction, dude. I think this is the dumbest shit. Bye forever, Restless Ridgeline. I guess. Yeah, I think I'm out. I mean, maybe not. I mean, I do have a Day of Judgment in hand. Enduring Innocence, that's pretty good. Do a Chumperino. Hell of a match. Avatar's Wrath. Wow. Yeah, that's really good in my Day of Judgment. Okay, good games. Kind of a scuffed run, folks. A little bit of little scuffed, in my opinion. That match obviously was okay. Whatever. It is what it is. The previous match 3 rather, being what it was, maybe not the best result for us. Still, overall 3-2. I thought it was a pretty decent run. Yeah, not much to say other than like kind of got ranched by High Noon being pretty incidentally good against us. I think that type of matchup in general, where our opponent has very interactive creatures, just being so like removal heavy on our end, but also they're really able to get under us in a way that it makes it hard to fight back. Wan Chi Tong in the final hour, drawing a million cards and like forcing my erode, and maybe not swinging with the Restless Ridgeline. That probably didn't matter in retrospect either. Had some good wins though. Although match 1, my opponent straight up left. I feel like maybe that doesn't count so much. Yeah, really weird scuffed run. It is what it is though. I think the deck itself is pretty fun. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you watching. Let me know if you'd like to see this list played again. Yeah, maybe another run with hopefully less shit happening. Maybe with less shit happening would be nice. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Hope you have a good one. Hope you have a beautiful day, in fact, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.